Now, let's talk about how we can write code in a way that it can repeat some steps over and over, as many times as needed. We all know that repetitive tasks are boring. Nobody likes to keep doing the same thing over and over again, and sometimes you get so bored that you might end up falling asleep. But fortunately, in programming, we can use just a few lines of code to repeat a task as many times as we need. For example, to walk 10,000 steps per day, you have to keep walking until you reach that goal. You'd also need to keep a counter of the total steps so you know when you're done. In Python, we can use a while loop to repeat a block of code multiple times. Here's how it works. So let's create a new variable called steps and set it to 0. Then we'll use the while keyword to start our loop, and just like the if statement, we add a Boolean expression right after while. If this condition is true, everything in the code block inside this while will be executed. After the code block is executed, we go back to the condition and check it again. As long as the condition is still true, we keep repeating the code block inside the while. When the condition is false, we're done executing the loop and we move on. You can also use a while loop when you don't know in advance how many times you'll need to repeat some steps. For example, you could use a while loop to keep asking for input until the user enters a valid response. So, imagine we are selling some oranges online, but we only have 10 oranges left. So we can't accept orders for more than 10 oranges. So, in this case, let's use a variable to represent the total for an order. And we can use a while loop to keep asking for input if this total is less than 1 or total is greater than 10. Inside this loop, we're going to ask the user to enter a number, and we'll convert that to an integer, since the input function returns a string value, and comparing numbers and strings would be weird and probably wrong. Now let's run this code, and as you can see, the while loop is going to keep asking us to enter a number until we enter a valid number between 1 and 10. Now, sometimes we may accidentally create an infinite loop. And that's not good, because our program will be stuck in that loop forever. Here's an example. So the condition for this loop is just true, which is saying, trust me, I know what I'm doing, just keep running this block. This is an infinite loop that will run forever because its condition is always true. So if we run this and I enter whatever here, it says incorrect. But if I enter secret 123, I get the correct message. But the loop will keep going. But we can actually stop the loop from inside when the password is correct, even if the condition is still true, using the keyword break. This will break out of the current loop and move on. So now, when we enter the correct password, the program says correct, and it's done. Okay, so now it's time for you to practice writing some while loops. So check out the interactive playground link in the description and leave any questions you have in the comments below.